Now the 419 with Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Welcome into the 419, a Wellness Wednesday edition. The 419 powered by WGTE and presented by Retro Wealth Management. I'm Kevin Mullen alongside
Gretchen DeBacker.
Matt Killam.
Our friends at WorkSpring are bringing us another Wellness Wednesday. And who do we have on the program today, Gretchen?
We have Jennifer Compton from
Sun Federal Credit Union.
Thank you.
What a team. Really bringing it together here.
Well, you know what? It's like volleyball,
Jennifer can't come out
right?
fast enough. I need her help like today.
Yeah.
Yes. And we were a little bit, how we tape this, I actually needed her help last week also.
Yeah.
And the week before, but the time is
She's
just
gonna
right.
She's gonna help you today, I think.
So Jennifer Compton talking about financial literacy, financial wellness.
Right.
And then Thadeus Washington, who I know has done some stuff with you guys at the Metro
Yes,
Parks.
and from all over the area, really. So Thadeus is immensely talented. He has performed all over the country, but we have a nature connection and a great story. He is just a real shining light in our area, so I'm thrilled to have him on.
And Thadeus is the guitarist behind this kind
Me, I'm the lead singer.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Yep,
He's
that's
directly
right.
behind me.
No, Toledo, University of Toledo football has started trying to bring about the tradition that, so you see a handful of stadiums around the country where everybody like sings a song at a certain point in the game.
Yeah.
And so a couple of years ago there was an intentional conversation about what does that tradition look like in Toledo.
Interesting.
And so they decided that the song was going to be Elton John's Rocket Man.
Love it.
But it's like, we got to.
How did I miss
why.
this?
But it's got to be Toledo,
Yeah.
right? We got to make it Toledo.
Yeah.
And I don't say this to like diminish what it is, but they were like, well, this is easy. We're just going to give it to Thaddeus.
Yeah,
and
sure.
let him do what he does.
Yeah.
And he did what he does.
Yeah,
and it's
all
awesome.
That's cool. That's very cool. I
It's
didn't know that.
a very cool tradition. So now the student section and the fans all get together and sing along, and it's kind of a cool.
I'm embarrassed. This is the first time I'm hearing of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. This show is great.
Yeah.
See, that's
This show's
We learn
great.
something every
Yeah.
day.
And then we're going to wrap up the program with WGTE's own and friend of ours, Marcus Harrison,
Yep.
talking about. So we had talked a couple weeks ago about.
the thinking, though, I think, is to finish strong, and we decided not to. But
We're gonna
Marcus-
flip that on its head.
That's right. Marcus was available, as he is always, based on his talent.
So we talked a couple weeks ago with Mark Folk about the grant that the Community Foundation
Yes.
has. We've had a few folks on connected to that grant, but where it's connecting nonprofit organizations, artists, and community organizations, and WGTE is a part of that. It's got a really exciting partnership that they're working on with that. So we'll talk to Marcus about that and more. There's 3 opportunities to enjoy the program every single day. 7 a.m. on WGTE's YouTube channel, 3 p.m. on FM 91 in Toledo, Bryan, Defiance, and Lima, and 6 p.m. on WGTE Connects channel 30.4. Of course, all of our past episodes are available online at WGTE.org/the419. We continue to get positive feedback from people, and I am constantly amazed that the feedback that I get is always like very specific, right? Like it's, I watched this moment and this was funny. Matt always kind of tends to ask these like heartfelt, really curious questions, so I get feedback about that. People always say like, Gretchen is funnier than I realized.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Looks aren't everything.
Yeah. That's the funny part. Yeah.
And then they rarely do I get any feedback about me.
Yeah.
So that's
Well-
great. Yeah. No, I know. I get it.
Yeah. No, my mom. My
Yeah.
mom said the sweetest thing. She said, "I heard you guys have a show." So you can put that on.
We do have a show, and you're going to enjoy it today
It's a
for
good
sure.
one today.
It's the 419. It's a Wellness Wednesday edition presented by WorkSpring. We'll be right back.
Support for the 419 comes from Retro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at retroadvisors.com.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and veteran journalist Jerry Anderson. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419. It's a Wellness Wednesday edition presented by WorkSpring. And most of our Wednesday episodes we're talking about, we're talking about workplace wellness or physical wellness, but we're taking a slightly different approach today. We're talking with Jennifer Compton, the Director of Business Development at Sun Federal Credit Union. We'll be talking a little bit about how finances play into the wellness discussion. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
I before we dive into the wellness topic, I have to, anytime I get a chance to talk about Sun Federal Credit Union, I love to do it because it's Sun Federal's played such an interesting role in my family. So within my own business, as you guys know, I own a fire truck that serves beer.
As one would.
That's right. And so that is a strange thing to call a bank to say, I'm going to launch a business that does this, right? I mean, I worked in
How many hung up on you?
I'll be honest with you, my first phone call was to Sun Federal.
Okay, good.
And I sat down with one of their former business development folks and said, this is what I want to do, and I want a loan to do this. And he was fantastic, that he was like, yeah, let's figure it out. And then he called me back and he was like, I actually think we want to do an auto loan to buy the truck because I can get you a better interest rate on that. And then we'll do a personal loan to be able to build out and finish the truck and launch the business. And so I was able to launch that business with $0 out of pocket, which was
ideal.
Yeah, that's right. That's, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And so that truck doesn't exist without Sun Federal Credit Union saying we'll take a chance on it. And I knew to go to them because they had done the exact same thing for my dad when he was moving from, he was working in financial services, worked selling insurance and investments, and had this crazy idea to start a trucking company.
Yeah.
And it was the time that market was tanking, fuel prices were rising, and so he called Sun Federal and said, I want to get into the trucking business, and this is what I want to do. And they said, you don't know anything about trucking, but we know you, and we trust you. And one of the first commercial loans that Sun Federal ever made was to my dad. And today, millions of dollars in payroll later out to drivers around the country happened because Sun Federal said,
that must make you
we'll
feel
take a chance on
happy
it.
and proud.
Also,
to be in
Jennifer,
a
did you
position?
know that you're going to come on and listen to Kevin's life story? What an exciting morning for
Right.
Yeah.
I love
Let me tell you a
talking
little
to
bit
Kevin.
of my parents.
I do like talking about that. Sun Federal is hitting their 75th anniversary this year.
How about that?
Yeah,
You look great.
Well, thank you. I've been there for 30 years.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
You're kidding.
I know.
Good for you.
I've been there a very long time. So I did work with his family, and that's one thing about the credit union is it's family oriented.
Yeah.
But it's local, and it's what we know they can do for the community. And we know this family. We know the work ethics of Kevin, obviously, and his parents.
Sure.
And that's why we take risks and chances like that.
A lot of people say local, but what does local mean to Sun Federal?
Local means giving back just like that.
Yeah.
We want trucks. We want Kevin and his family to thrive in Toledo, not leave Toledo, stay here. We were started by Sunoco on Woodville Road.
You're kidding me. Interesting.
That was,
okay.
yeah, it started with a cigar box, and there's 10 guys that put money together. A young man needed a loan to put a front porch on his home.
Yeah.
Banks would not give it to him, just like they wouldn't give his dad a loan. And those guys put their money together and say, hey, let's loan this to him. He can pay it back.
Yeah.
And it started that way.
How about that?
Writ large, what are the differences between a credit union and a traditional bank? Or they're different?
They are different. One, we're not for profit. So anything that we do take in, we give back to Kevin's family, families in the area, small businesses. A lot of times you'll find that in the banking industry, they want large dollar amounts. We're not chasing the large dollar amounts, we're chasing the small businesses for them to thrive. So local means keep it here, let this survive, we're your neighbors, come and see us.
Do people have to have an account at the credit union to come in and talk to you about loans or business ideas or things like that?
They don't necessarily need an account. We encourage them to open one because we have the best products and services to fit their need.
That sounds like it.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did little Jennifer Did you open up a lemonade stand, or how did you see yourself in banking, or how did you get to here?
Well, my dad retired from the refinery.
Okay.
So I've always had an account with Sun Federal. And growing up, you know, you put money in there, and my family did well. We weren't wealthy, but we survived, right?
Yeah, sure.
I had everything I needed, and the refinery provided that for me, and I can go work at the credit union that provides that to the refinery workers, and then we've blossomed beyond that. So we're $650 million in assets now.
Wow.
And we serve more than just the refinery.
So let's transition a little bit to the Wellness Wednesday topic. Many people have experienced and certainly know in their own lives when money becomes tight, when bills are due, when financial stressors really just sort of dampen everything else in your life, when you don't know how you're going to get everything done that you have to get done.
Right.
What are some things that Sun Federal Credit Union does to help people in those moments? What are some strategies that people can employ to help them when those situations arise?
Well, most people are one paycheck away from disaster. I mean, for the most part, you're living paycheck to paycheck, everything's getting more expensive. But to go to the basics and start with a budget, because you have to see what's coming in to know what can go out. And sometimes it does mean a second job for a little while, but put them in a place where they don't have the stressors coming on them or collections calls coming in. That can strain you at work, it can strain you at home. And a lot of times divorces are a result of money, and it's not other things. So if one, you can be honest about it, and a lot of times we have people come in, it's almost like you hold their hand. It's like
just facing it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
right.
Yeah.
Sure. Avoidance is one of my faves.
Well, you want to stick your head in the sand and not look at it.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
But there has to be a time where you hit the limit and you're like, I got to do something about this. Where can I go? You can actually come in, it's local, sit down with one of us. We had certified financial counselors. I'm one. My whole team is certified in that. We go into the schools to start them young. To get them.
I think that's so smart.
It is. We have 6 student-run credit unions here in Northwest Ohio and 1 out in Philadelphia.
If you don't talk about it with kids, they do think that it's just, and you use these little pieces of plastic to buy everything, debit card or credit card, that they don't understand that this is actually money that we earned by working, or that, that these things actually cost money. So what age?
Gretchen used wampum.
I
That
did.
was her first form of currency.
What age do you start educating kids about money and how it's earned and spent?
We actually go into the elementary schools, but to focus on high school to get them ready for college, because what we're seeing is a student loan debt is a lot. And they're coming out of college with an $800, $900 student loan payment that starts in 6 months after they graduate. So how can we help them? And to your point, saying it's not money when you don't see it, and student loans are really bad about that. Because you go, I'm going to go back to school and get another student loan.
Right.
Each one of those is a payment. Every single one of those is a payment that you have to pay back, but you don't see the money. So you're just accumulating it and you don't see the payback. What we can help them do is look for scholarship and grants. They're out there, but also help them understand if you can save some, get started that way. If you can take college prep courses in high school, start that way. It's free. Do what you can do so that you can move out when you're done with college.
What are the building blocks of, financial wellness, stability? If someone's, watching this and is feeling some of that stress, what are the things that you say, hey, this is where you should start? You should, achieve these certain things, this amount of money in your savings account, or what is it?
We start with putting as much money as you feel you can, but we try to help find those leaks in your budget. So come in, let's write out the budget, let's look at your credit report. Is there anything you can tweak over here to add some money over here? Sometimes it's streaming services. If you don't,
Or those
pay attention to
subscriptions,
them.
or it could be
Yeah.
parking tickets.
Well, I'll tell you, do not pay those because they will show up on your credit report.
And they do.
They do, and it hurts
they
you.
block your
yes,
license.
That's right.
Yes.
And you get pulled over and could potentially get a ticket. I'm just
It's
throwing a
terrible.
These are
possibility.
just examples.
Well,
That's
it's
right.
so true. We actually had a young lady, and
We'll call
she
her
wanted. Okay,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
She was going to buy a home. She's always had good credit with us, and we pulled her credit. It had tanked, and we're like, "What has happened?" She had 3 of those she had went through a light and
Yeah.
got a ticket.
Yeah.
And she was like, that was unfair, I'm not paying it. And you're doing yourself more
Yeah.
harm
Yeah.
by not doing that?
Let me ask you something, Jennifer. Are you
Yes.
here on behalf of ParkSmart to direct this at me?
No.
I'm just kidding.
I'm here to help you, Matt.
Yes, I will ask you. I know that there's a 30-year career of this. So picking one is like picking the proverbial favorite child. But there have to be a couple aha moments or like real feel-good things that. Do you have a single story? It could potentially be Kevin's family, but and again, I know there's a million of them, so this is unfair. But do you have one or two that are really exciting, or you think exemplify Sun Federal?
I do, actually. I had a lady come in, and she was beside herself with collection calls. She was sitting across the desk from me, and she's like, "This is going to ruin my marriage. This is going to be a disaster." And I asked her, I'm like, "Would your husband come in?" And she's like, "Jen, this is going to be bad."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, here's your credit report. Start there. Schedule an appointment to come back and see me." And they did have a lot of credit card debt. But one thing that you can think about when you're doing this is it can be fixed if you take the time to look at it,
That's a great
and
message.
if you want it to. If you want that, it can happen. They came back in, they did get a fight in my office, and I'm like, "You guys can go back, talk about it, but come back and see me." 5 years later, the credit cards are gone, and this was a lot. It was
Wow.
north of 85,000 in
my
credit
gosh,
card debts,
yeah.
which is easy. Like you could get
Same
a
with parking tickets.
it's
It can happen
so
to
easy.
anybody.
But
Right.
you could get a $20,000 credit card like that.
Yeah.
And you have 3 of them, you're in trouble.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's exactly what was happening. She said, "We sold some of our stuff. You know, we were trying to keep up with the Joneses, which was wrecking our lives."
Yeah.
They wanted their kids to have everything, and we all do that.
Yes, ma'am.
But it can be very expensive
Yeah.
to provide everything to your kids, and it's not teaching them a lesson if they see fighting and arguments at home over money.
That's a great.
you talk a
that's a
little-
great message.
It is. It really is.
And what I'm hearing you just say is you've got to marry one of the Joneses.
Well,
Yeah, marry
yes,
one of
marry
them.
up
Yeah.
to, yeah.
Yeah,
Pardon me.
it's a good strategy.
Yes.
How's that going for you, Gretchen?
Yeah. Any of us?
Go
yeah.
on,
Go
okay.
ahead.
That's
I
fine.
interrupted.
Again, my number is 4.
I've done great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so
you
we're
have.
clear.
Yeah.
Like, if
You've
we're
married
putting
way
that
up,
out there. Yeah.
way above. Medical debt is a huge problem
Yes.
for many Americans. It's a large cause of bankruptcies. Do you, at Sun Federal or in general, have a strategy, some way not to get out from the debt, but to maybe prevent this problem to begin with? Are there opportunities available for people to try and avoid that debt?
There are. I know under Mercy there are programs that you can call and get help to reduce some of your costs. But one thing is just looking at your bill and making sure it's correct. And the medical debt will accumulate if you can roll it. I don't ever say take it and put it into a signature loan or anything like that. It's interest free to have a medical debt. So if you could put $15, take that part of your budget and send it over there and just let it ride, because it's not going to hurt your credit and there's no interest. It's not building unless you go back to the doctor and you're adding to that. Send a small amount over there and just pay towards it. It will keep your credit up and you won't have to worry about it. They do send it to collections and then you start getting
Then
the
no
phone
problem,
calls. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite app or technology or program that someone, can use on their phone either to create a budget or to pay bills? I use Rocket Money, which they're not a sponsor, but
They
I
are now.
found so many stupid subscriptions that I had, just $20, $30, $40, $50 a month of stuff you just completely forget about.
What's the most embarrassing one?
I think I had 2 Netflix accounts.
That happens all the
And
time.
I didn't even currently have it on. It was just stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Get somebody's passcode. No,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. Don't do that.
yeah, we'll edit that out. Yeah,
So stealing is a strategy. Okay, good.
No, I do think checking the subscriptions is
Yes,
a must.
huge,
It's
yeah.
the beginning of the year. We're getting ready for tax time. I say definitely look at that. Look at your interest rates. Credit unions in general are capped at 18% as our highest interest rate. If you have a Kohl's card in your pocket, you're paying about 35 to 36%. And there's a big difference there. Like, you could pay it down faster by moving it into something lower. And that's the thing, Kohl's makes you use it to get the 30%, but they're charging you 35% to buy it.
Wow.
So it's not really a savings if you look at it like that. And that's the thing is, like, look at your credit report, start small, because it can be so overwhelming for some people. That's not what you do all day. You don't sit and look at your reports and your bills, and some people don't want to look at them at all.
100%.
So
We're talking with Jen Compton, Director of Business Development at Sun Federal Credit Union. You mentioned you've got student credit unions around the area. You've also got a handful of locations.
Yes.
What you mentioned Philadelphia. Where is Sun Federal Credit Union?
So we partnered with a refinery right off of downtown Philadelphia. That was the headquarters for Sunoco at the time. They're not there any longer, but we did merge them, and we are in Philadelphia, Main Philadelphia, West Lawn, Radnor, and South Philadelphia. So, and we do have a school out there, Wilson School Districts, and they have a student-run credit union in their school as well. So we're providing financial resources starting at 16. When you get a job, you don't get those payroll cards. They're very expensive. Young people get that, and it costs them $1 just to have an inquiry, just to see what your balance is. But they don't realize that they don't have to pay that. Yeah. So we're going into the schools to help with that.
People want more information on some of the wellness programs that you guys offer into schools, or more information on Sun Federal Credit Union. Where can they find it?
Visit us at sunfcu.org. We have a great website, lots of tools, lots of budgeting tricks and tips. We can help you with all of that. Or give me a call personally, Jennifer Compton.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much. When we
you.
come back, we're joined by Thadeus
Good.
Washington.
That was easy.
To talk to us about, I think, his role in wellness in our community. It's the 419. We'll be right back.
To me, community means connecting to others.
I'm Donnie Miller, and welcome to The Point.
I love CBS Kids!
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
I would send them personally a t-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the old West End, pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
Vision loss for people is not the end.
It's a story. It's the next chapter.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
Monday through Friday, it's the 419 powered by WGTE. With Matt Killam, Gretchen DeBacker, I'm Kevin Mullen. What can people expect on the show?
It's going to be an hour, a reminder of why this is a great place to live, work, and play.
WGTE, where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back into the 419, a Wellness Wednesday edition, presented by WorkSpring. And wellness takes on many different shades. And, as we talk about, music and what Thadeus, certainly your, no question, God-given gift. But I know you've done some things with the Metro Parks. All right, there's some questions. But Thadeus, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
What is, if people don't know who you are and what you do, I mean, you're involved in a lot of different areas, but how do you describe Thadeus Washington?
I would say that I am creative, right? And ultimately just a servant, right? With what I do, whether it be music or in business, it's to serve people, so.
And this is certainly a talent that's driven into you on a molecular level, but from a little guy, and we'll get to where you are today and all the things you've done and how you're benefiting the community that you live in. But your dad is a musician, your mom is a musician. Tell me about what got you to here.
Well, my mom's not a musician, but
Yes.
my dad is.
But I mean, they both made.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just as a child, like you said, my dad, phenomenal guitar player. I learned, playing guitar at 14, but I started off as a drummer playing in my church. And music has just been, the silver lining of my life. It's been the most consistent thing since I was a kid. Ultimately, it saved my life at one point, right? I had some challenges through life growing up when my parents divorced really young, but music was that thing that was consistent. It was always there. So,
was guitar the first instrument?
No, drums actually. Yeah, I started off as a drummer at 10, and I never really wanted to play guitar because I revered my father so much. So people would say, "You don't want to learn how to play guitar?" Nah,
no, right.
He's got that. But one day I was like 14, and it clicked, and I'm like,
you heard him playing, you're like, actually, he's not that great.
I could do that.
I could come right over the top of this.
No, man. I went to him and I'm like, "Dad, I want to learn." And he was like, "Okay, let's do it." He put a guitar in my hand, and it's been that way ever since.
And I know faith is a big part of your life.
Absolutely.
But the music that was playing in your home, in your ears, what did you grow up listening to?
Nothing but gospel and Christian. Yeah. Honestly, believe it or not, at this point in my life at 36, I'm learning about different genres and new things and artists. People always ask me, even when I started doing the national anthem, they were like, "Man, Jimi Hendrix would be proud." And I had never actually heard Jimi Hendrix perform it until after I had done the national anthem. We were raised in a Christian home, and it was religious. We weren't allowed to listen to other music.
So you mentioned playing the national anthem.
Yeah.
I know a number of the places you've played, but you're a confident person. And I think largely, it's supported certainly by your skills. But there has to be a time where you're on stage and the lights turn on, and you're like, "Oh my, can I do this?" Was there ever a moment where, not an imposter syndrome, but you felt intimidated? I mean, you've done this at Staples Center, which is where the Lakers play, and there's sundry other teams. Anytime that you're like, "I'm just a kid from Philadelphia and Toledo, Ohio,"
Yeah, that's all the time. You know what I mean? Whether it's a stadium or when we were doing the mindful meetups down at the Ribbon downtown or the Enrichment Center. There's nerves, but I once read that if you're not nervous when you're doing something, you don't care. So I love to get those butterflies every time I'm doing something because, again, I don't consider myself a performer, right? I'm sharing my God-given gift with those who are there, so there's always those nerves.
I love that.
Yeah, that lets me know I'm human and keeps me grounded.
You mentioned mindful meetups.
Yes, sir.
What are those?
Yeah, so mindful meetups, we started doing them, bless you.
No wellness today.
Probably about 2 years ago, right? I met Matt. We met at an event, and we connected over coffee, which turned into sharing my vision to want to bring the community together to learn about mindfulness, what it means, right? To learn about belonging and get some resources, some tools. Everybody's struggling with something. So the goal was to create a place where people could come and, learn about mindfulness, whether it was meditation, yoga, just bringing the community together. So we started doing that, and that turned into our partnership with Common Ground, the album that we've done, and we're working on album number 2 now, which is finished. So it's just all about bringing the people together, right? So many people are struggling with things, and they don't have the resources, they don't have the community. So
what does mindfulness mean to you, and how do you practice that in your daily life?
To me, mindfulness is about being present, right? The actual meaning is to be present in the moment, so it means everything to me. And I practice it in different ways. Number one, just breathing, ultimately, that whether feeling anxious or nervous or just, dealing with thoughts in the mind, taking a second to disconnect. But then there's the music that I've created, right? Mindfulness music that just kind of helps center the mind, the ecosystem, all the stuff that we're working through up here, right? I think that the world is moving so fast. Technology, there are new things happening, right? You got to get to this. What does success look like? So practicing mindfulness helps to slow down, bring everything to center, so that way, I can think about the things in life differently. So
when you're doing your practice, do you hear your music in your head, or is that when you compose?
Yeah.
Good question.
When I'm doing my practice, because I've created the music, right? I allow the music to guide me. When I am in the actual creation process, whether it be out in nature or just in the studio, I'm just open. So taking that moment to breathe and center myself, I allow God to just give me, you know, that creative flow, and the melodies come from there. But ultimately, the stillness, right? It's all about being still. I believe My Music is the name of my sub company, and I believe it stands for Mindfulness Inspires New Direction. So when we're present, when we slow down, right? If you have something you're trying to figure out, there's a problem you're trying to solve, slowing down, being mindful, being present in the moment, it inspires the direction you should go. What decisions should you make? Should you move? Should you stop? So that all goes into it.
How do you decide that a song is done?
I just feel it in my spirit, right? You know, so when we, like the album, all the songs on the album, I go out and I create, and I may start, and we don't say this is gonna be 5 minutes. So one song may be 3 minutes. When I get to that 3 minute mark, I'm like, that's it. Some of the songs on the new album are 9 and 12 minutes. It's just all about the feeling and being tapped in and being present, and it directs.
Take us from day one of Common Ground 1, which is your first album, which, you know, thousands and thousands of people have downloaded and listened to.
Absolutely.
And you and I were both at a place together when a couple mentioned that was unsolicited. They didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
They said that this is the song they put their kid to sleep with, right?
Wow.
Because it's so boring. Your words, Thadeus. But dude, walk us through, for people who don't know, Common Ground is what, and how did you create this?
Common Ground is an album for all, right? It's an album that combines the power of music and nature together, right? For self-healing, for relaxation, for sleep, and ultimately a tool to bring what I believe is the greatest part of Toledo, our parks and nature, home with people. So when you walk through Wildwood, when you walk through Oak Openings, right, you hear that nature, you hear those sounds. I wanted to take those sounds and be able to combine them with music, so when people are at home or they're riding in their car or they're on vacation, they can think about being in that space and place. So that's what Common Ground is.
We had a guest on just recently, Jenny from Engaged Toledo, and I did ask her, I was like, how do you decompress, or how do you get out of your head? And she mentioned Wildwood. But I will tell you, Thadeus, you and I have had pretty candid conversations. Your concept has brought you into relatively uncharted territories for you.
Absolutely.
So a trip out to Oak Openings at night, talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, being out first time, me, D, went out with Tim, two black guys. I had never been out that far at night, you know, in Oak Openings. It was like, wow, what's going on? It's super dark, you couldn't see nothing, but there was an instant, like, this feeling of peace, because there's still, so you hear the owls, you hear the wind, you might hear some birds, and what I realized is being out there, putting yourself in new environments, while it may make you anxious or make you nervous, it's a great thing. I learned so much, being able to connect with him, connecting with the Metro Parks in this opportunity. It helped me to learn more about myself, more about the things that are around me, and that's what I want to champion for people, right? Get out of your comfort zone, get out of your community, try something new. When I met you, you know, the plan wasn't to create the album, it was just to connect. But as we were being mindful, being present in the moment, we learned about each other. You learned about my faith, I learned about, you know what I mean, the things, your love for the community, and we brought that together. So being out in Oak Openings was amazing.
How does your appreciation for nature and being in those green spaces and open spaces in your faith intersect?
Nature is created by God, right? So all things, I believe, are created by God. The birds, the trees, the grass. And whenever I'm in nature, you can feel a sense of peace. Things are always moving, but if you stop, you realize that things are still, right? So those two together for me really, they help to strengthen my faith in the fact that the ultimate creator is always moving within us. Everything is okay, even when you feel like it's not. Taking time to, again, come back to your breath, right? Take a breath and realize that the wind is blowing, right? The leaves and the trees are moving. The snow may be falling. So those two combine for me in that way.
Beautiful. Are you still doing the mindful meetups? Is that a series that's going to come back for the? For
Yeah,
2026?
we're talking about that and we're working on that.
Well, actually, we don't need him anymore. Evan's fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the world is all
We're all
good.
good.
Everything is going exactly as we planned.
Yeah.
All right, it's now time for us to play Gretchen's Wacky Quiz. You didn't seem so excited about that. You're too mindful on that one.
he phoned that in.
I just want to be present.
I mean,
Yeah.
all right. I'm going to ask you 4 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Gretchen's going to ask you for your favorite thing in or about Toledo.
Okay.
And then Matt is going to make you describe Toledo in exactly 9 words.
We'll
Not
do it
8,
together.
not 10, not 4,
Make
9
it.
words.
He's
It's
gonna
the
make
4,
you.
1, 9. All right. Who is the oldest person you know? It's Gretchen.
Have you met Gretchen?
Don't fall prey to their.
The oldest person I know, my uncle, Tracy. Yeah.
Would you ever go skydiving?
Yes.
Have you?
No.
Okay.
Which,
Anybody could just say yes. Yeah.
which TV family does your family have the most in common with?
I would say Good Times.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Which or who would play you in a movie about your life?
Ooh, probably my son, Harlem.
Okay, nice. What's your number one most favorite or what you consider to be the best thing about the city of Toledo?
Metro Parks.
Oh, man.
Hands down.
I heard you say Metro Parks. All right, it's you and me. We're going to knock out 9. You ready? Hand in hand. All right. 9 things that describe Toledo or the region to you. You said the people?
Yeah, the people.
Okay.
Culture.
Oh, man.
Opportunity.
You got it.
Resilience.
Got it. You're on a roll. 3 more. Metro Parks.
Grit. Metro Parks.
Yes.
And community.
Community.
Excellent.
He is Thadeus Washington. What's the next big thing?
So much. So I have a
True.
partnership with a local winery, Toledo Share. So downtown we have a speakeasy, and in there there's a venue. It's called the Living Room.
We've had them on the show.
Yeah. So my artist residency is there. I'm the resident artist there. But also the Common Ground 2 album will be releasing within the next month or so. So a lot of opportunities to come see me at the Living Room, but also to check out the new Common Ground album.
And is that available anywhere?
Yeah,
people
so
download
Common
music?
Ground will be available everywhere you stream music. So Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, YouTube Music, we're everywhere.
What's the most supportive way for someone that they want to support what you're doing? What's the most supportive? I mean, Spotify doesn't pay a whole lot to the artists, right? But I mean, and I'm not. It's not just them, right? It's all the streaming
absolutely.
stuff. But like, what's the most supportive way for someone to be a part of it?
I think coming to check out a show, and even whether you do stream, right? At the end of the day, I don't actually do music for money. It's the love, it's the passion for it. So if I didn't make a dime, I'd still be playing. But anytime I'm doing a show, or going to check out my website, thadsworld.com. But like I said, it's all about community. You can support me there. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for making our community better.
I'm going to make you put him on the spot. There's a guy in the shadows that kind of always goes with you and has helped telling the story.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about
Daryl.
D.
That's my brother, man, right-hand man. We've been knowing each other since kindergarten, and he's a genius. Swiss Army knife. Everything that you see me do, 98% of it wouldn't be possible without him. So very thankful for him.
It's a great compliment.
That's awesome. Thaddeus, thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
When we come back, we are joined by our good friend and WGTE's own, Marcus Harrison. We'll be right back on the 419.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at WitroAdvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARTA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at tarta.com.
Welcome back into the 419, a Wellness Wednesday edition. And we're joined now by WGTE's own Director of Marketing and Communications, the one, the only, Marcus Harrison.
Marcus, don't tell anyone else here that you're our favorite WGTE employee.
Oh, wow. You guys are too nice.
Well, that's not true for me.
Admittedly, when we first kind of started down this road, Marcus was one of the first folks that we were having conversations with. Gosh, I mean, I think you had just started, and you and I were on the phone with each other talking about, how do we get this program across the finish line?
And he's kept his job after greenlighting this,
this
project somehow.
I did something right.
The show is still young,
That's right,
so
it's still
anything
young.
is
It's still young.
possible.
Well, speaking of young, though, of all of us, I actually have known you the longest.
Absolutely. You are one of my oldest friends, sir.
That's right.
Is that true?
Yes.
That is very true.
How is this possible?
Marcus and I, you went to McKinley and then Old Orchard, or straight to Old Orchard?
Straight to Old Orchard.
Okay. Did you play Little League at McKinley?
No, I played Pee Wee baseball at McKinley.
Yeah,
so that was after Old Orchard.
I knew something. So Marcus and I have been friends since we were in first grade or so.
I did not know that.
Yep, we were on the same Little League baseball team.
I have so many questions. Was he always like this?
Yes.
Did he wear a baseball hat back then?
Yes, because we were playing baseball.
No.
Yeah, yep. When it works, you stick
Who was
with
the
it.
better baseball player?
I was, of course.
Yeah.
I
That actually,
the school had this program where they would just kind of let anybody play, and Matt's name was on the list. So
Right.
kind of like, let this guy.
Let this kid.
Yeah.
We feel that he was a charity kind of situation.
no, I think that actually may be true. Marcus had a very strong throwing arm.
I did.
And was a good hitter.
Yeah, both of those are helpful in baseball.
Yeah, it turns out.
What did you bring to the team, Matt?
Marcus. I drove him to the game.
You gave him a ride every day.
My mom would drive him to and from, got orange
Hilarious.
slices. Sometimes his arm would get sore and I would rub it.
Where'd you go to high school, Marcus?
I went to St. John's.
Okay.
Go Titans.
Titan.
Yep.
Class 96.
Talk to me about your role here at WGTE. What do you do as the Director of Marketing and Communications?
Basically, I'm in charge of any internal and external communication. So that's communicating, with the media. That's communicating, what is our narrative? Everything that's coming out of WGTE. So all of that kind of filters through me, and everything that's internal too, filters through me. So. It's a very interesting role. As you guys know, my background is in content, so production. So it's a very different role for me, but at the same time, I'm still in an environment that's comfortable for me. I've been in broadcast TV for over 20-something years, at this point. And it's crazy that I started my career here, I left, and then now I'm back.
And I know the answer to this, but Marcus, your folks are... I knew them as a child, but how did your upbringing get you to where you are today? Who are they and what did they do?
My dad has passed, God rest his soul, but both of my parents were leaders.
Yes.
In this community. My mom, I still, and I mess with her all the time, when I get in certain circles, I name drop her.
Yeah.
You're Barbie Harrison's son. Come on over here.
Sure.
But she ran Big Brothers Big Sisters for a number of years.
I was going to say,
number of years. And my dad was he was a chemist for BASF. So he worked a lot with Jeep and different paints and chemicals and stuff like that. I honestly still don't even know exactly what he did.
Yeah.
But I just know it was something technical. He would be bringing home little vials of stuff, and I'm just like, I have no idea what that is, but it looks serious. But both my
Gretchen
parents
brings vile things home.
Gretchen does that
Is that
too.
the same?
It was serious as well.
Yeah.
But both my parents eventually became pastors.
Yes.
In the church, and my mom still, she's still a pastor, and she still, professes her love for God, and
she has a very imperial. She's a very serious woman, and has a real presence. I was presenting to a pretty large group, and this very stoic, beautiful African woman says, before you start, Mr. Killam, I've got a few things to say to you. I was like, oh my goodness.
I'm in trouble now.
That's right. He's like, I'm Marcus Harrison's mom. I was like, oh my God, thank God.
I told her to, because I think she had mentioned that you were going to be at, you were going to be at this presentation. I was like, you make sure you go up and grab him.
That's right.
You tell him.
Yeah, well, she did it right in front of everyone, and it was terrifying. But a lovely family, lovely people, and they're all what they created. As you know, there's no secret or love lost between the two of us. You are one of my favorites.
Thank you. I
The
appreciate
three of
that.
us are incredibly grateful to be a part of the WGTE family and to be able to bring this program every day to Northwest Ohio. But you've got a lot of great things that are going on. There's a lot of new programs. I want to talk a little bit about, let's talk a little bit about Local Thread, which is another program that you guys have launched new this year. And then we'll get into kind of the new project.
Yeah, so the Local Thread is basically a consortium of different media outlets and different, people that are here in Lucas County and Northwest Ohio that we've given them a platform to talk about their narrative. So we're working with Toledo Free Press, we're working with TPS, we're working with Jerry Anderson, we're working with La Prensa, we're also working with the Sojourner's Truth. So different media outlets coming together to produce content is like something that's unheard of, it's unprecedented, so.
And how is it they only have to do one day a week?
I don't know. We should have that deal, huh?
It seems like this should be the other way.
Yeah,
right. The other way around.
We did not think this one
No,
through.
we didn't.
So they're giving us one evening a week. I think it's at 7 p.m. On FM 91. I know you're jealous.
And
of
that's
that.
released as a podcast as well as on the radio.
Absolutely.
But you are, the WGTE is famous for Toledo stories, amongst many things, and you are now telling Toledo stories today.
Absolutely.
Which I think is critical in the time. And I'm paraphrasing Kevin's sort of mission statement for us. We don't take ourselves that seriously. I hope people certainly know that. But as things go out of Toledo, or your news almost entirely goes out of Toledo, it's a critical time to do this. So talk to me a little bit about what was kind of a gutsy move, in my opinion, and others.
Absolutely.
But talk about why this is so important.
It was right on time, honestly, for us, and everybody at this point knows that, we lost $1.2 million of our budget here just at WGTE. So
have you checked with Sun Trust, because you could have multiple Netflix streaming, like Gretchen does.
Turns out that was where the 1.2 million.
Right. We have 75,000 Netflix accounts. Go ahead,
But
Marcus,
we lost that funding, so we had to put our heads together and decide, okay, moving forward, where do we go? So we came up with a strategy of being hyper-local and digital first. Hyper-local is, and I've had experience, in past experiences working, with local entities and local organizations, and local is where it's at. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And when you think about local, I mean, WGT is going to be celebrating 75 years next year.
It's amazing.
I mean, that's all local. So we're standing on a foundation of local,
Right.
Telling the stories of people that live, work, and play right here in Toledo. Right. So we had to recommit ourselves to that foundation and really double down on, what built us.
Right.
So Local Thread, 419, I mean, it just made sense, for us to take that gamble and say, okay, this is where we're headed.
Speaking of making sense.
Yeah, the community.
You like that lead in?
There you
That's
go.
good.
I did
Toledo
that on
you're
purpose.
good. Yeah.
Toledo Community Foundation, who sponsors this segment on our show, has also given some artist grants, cultural grants. WGTE is a beneficiary of that.
Yes.
There's a new show that's coming out of that called Make It Make Sense. Can you talk a little bit about what the show's going to be?
Yep, it's actually not a show.
Okay.
Just
Well done, Gretchen.
Sorry.
It's a program.
Yeah. And it's actually canceled.
Right.
Thanks, Gretchen.
Thanks, Gretchen. No, it's a 3-year program. It's a lot of layers to this program, but we are very excited, to receive the grant. So thank you to Toledo Community Foundation. But this program is basically designed to amplify local voices, to basically provide work experience for youth and young adults that are, can be deemed as at risk, and to support resident-led community solutions. So what does all of that mean? Basically, we're working with, we have two partners, Reinvest Toledo and the Mayor's Office of Safety, Neighborhood Safety and
Monty.
Engagement.
Yep.
So Monty is identifying the youth that are going to be basically interning with WGTE. These are going to be paid interns. We're going to be teaching them media production. So they're going to get to, learn how to run camera, learn how to, learn all the behind the scenes, the inner workings of putting a show together, and how does that work? So we're not just, they're not just interning, and this is not just a tour of WGT. We're equipping them with skills that they're going to need to be successful. And the whole idea is that we're teaching them how to become storytellers.
Sure.
Will they be producing content out of this?
They will be producing content. So they're going to be helping. So another part of this, the resident-led, that I was talking about, the resident-led community solutions. We're going to be producing some town halls every year of this project. So they're going to be helping us produce that stuff.
Is there any concern about opening up this youth to this show, to making them turn to a life of crime?
None at all.
Okay, all right.
They might produce a show about crime.
Sure. Right. Yeah, that's right. That's a fair statement.
I know Community Foundation is the grant is sort of kickstarting this, but I know there's still like a gap. There's still a need for additional funding.
Absolutely.
What are ways if people are looking at this going, I love the idea of getting youth involved in developing town halls and developing solutions in their own community, and they want to be a part of it. How do they learn more information about this, and how do they get involved?
I mean, you can always go to WGTE.org to find out more information about this project. I mean, like I said, it's a lot of layers to it, and I failed to mention that, as part of this project, the youth that are chosen each year, there's going to be like 6 to 10 youth chosen each year,
great.
Identified, as at risk. But we're going to be equipping them with the skills to be successful in production. So they're going to be helping us produce these town halls, but at the same time, we're going to be helping them to produce short documentaries about their experience.
Yeah,
what is their experience with, gun violence or any? I mean, at risk can be a myriad of things. So
if someone is listening or watching and knows somebody that would fit that criteria, that may be interested, is there a way for them to reach out and try to participate in the program?
I would say don't necessarily reach out to WGT, but reach out to the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. They are the ones that are in charge of identifying these individuals.
Yeah.
And then Reinvest Toledo is going to be the ones that are in charge of engaging different communities, and bringing out neighborhoods to, help with these town halls and talk about issues and things that are going on in those communities.
We're talking with Marcus Harrison, the Director of Marketing and Communications for WGTE. Marcus, are Matt and I considered at risk because of how closely we have to work with Gretchen every day?
He might be. I don't know. I don't want to answer that fully.
It's a varying definition, but the real question is, why you watch the show, you filmed our bookshelves, and yet you've come here with no gift? It's interesting. All I'm going to say is it's interesting.
I am the gift.
All right, let's put him on the shelf.
So I'll just lay up on top of that one every show, kind of like that.
He's so amazing.
Just sits back there with no comment.
A little legs,
Now we're talking
We'll print you guys out a picture, just a picture of my face, and we'll just put it in one of those
I can take it out of my wallet.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need to print it out.
Can we do it?
Yes,
it's now time to play Gretchen's Wacky Quiz. Marcus, you get it. All right, 4 rapid fire questions from me.
Okay.
Gretchen's asking for your favorite thing in or about Toledo.
Okay.
And then Matt is going to make you describe Toledo in exactly 9 words. And we know you're going to get it right.
All right.
4 rapid fire questions. What's your favorite drink?
I'm a bourbon guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is the one celebrity you would want to be friends with?
Matt Killam.
Good questions, Kevin.
You didn't think of the question.
Yeah, still
on
in
the
all.
card.
Still in all.
Boy, that Alex Trebek, what a genius.
I like Snoop. I like Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
Really?
No, not that you'd like that would have been your
Well,
pick.
he has so many different layers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as a celebrity, I appreciate his longevity. How he's
Marcus,
how he's
you're
managed to evolve.
You can go to the Olympics with him.
You've also had a real career, man, and you're not young anymore. So
That's true.
Is this really because you just want to be friends with Martha Stewart?
I do like Martha Stewart.
Yeah,
Me too.
Martha Stewart is awesome.
What's your favorite pizza topping?
Got to be pepperoni. I'm a simple guy.
What's the one thing that you're most grateful that your parents taught you?
That's a good one.
Working through adversity and hard work, definitely.
Marcus, what's your number one most favorite thing, or what you would consider to be the best thing about the city of Toledo?
Wow, there's so many different things. One of my favorite things to do is to golf at Ottawa Park.
Yeah.
I love Ottawa Park.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I grew up in Westmoreland, which is like adjacent to Ottawa Park. So I spent all this time in the park, you know, like I would be down there at one golf club just learning. And now I get to take my kids back to Ottawa Park to golf. And it's just like, man, this is really
great course.
full circle, you know, and I'm like, I don't think we really even understood what we really had in Ottawa Park.
Yeah, I'm glad you like Wildwood so much. All right, Mike,
love our parks.
you and me, babe, 1 through 9. Let's do it. Your 9 favorite things about Toledo or the region.
Arts.
All right.
Golf.
Yep, all right.
Golf.
You can say Ottawa Park one more time. Oh,
Pizza.
My man. All right, what's your favorite pizza place?
It's 2. It's Chino's and
right?
Idiot.
I'm giving you 2 for those. All right, you've got 4 more. 4 more words to describe the region.
Culture.
My man. All right, 3 more.
The people.
Yep, good.
Community.
Yes, 1 more. Finish strong.
Humanities.
Humanities.
Nice.
Marcus brings us home.
Thank
Marcus
you so much.
Harrison, Director of Marketing Communications here at WGTE. We're wrapping up, and they're trying to get me to wrap. I'm not going to do it. What's your dream for WGTE?
My dream for WGTE is to step into our future. We just need to step into it. It's already here, and it's right here around us. And I think everything that we're doing right now is the beginning of that, you know. So just step on into it, you know, walk through the door, you know, and I believe we're doing that.
And you've got a new app coming out.
We do have a new app coming out, and the WGTE app. So you can take shows like this. You can take shows like Local Thread. You can take all our different shows, all our different programming, PBS programming, NPR programming, take it with you everywhere.
My man. All right.
Excellent.
Marcus Harrison, thank you so much for joining us. When we come back, we'll wrap up this, what do we know today is Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday edition of the 419. We'll be right back.
You laughed with us. You learned with us.
Hi, neighbor.
We made sure your childhood was special. Memories that could only be provided by PBS. For generations, we've given you programs that made a difference. Programs that entertained, informed, and inspired. And today is no different. This is WGTE Public Media in Toledo. It's where you belong.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and veteran journalist Jerry Anderson. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419 as we wrap up a Wellness Wednesday edition presented by WorkSpring. And another, most of our episodes we have 2 guests.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally we go to 3. And when we go to 3, I feel like the show just flies by.
Yes.
And not to say that I don't enjoy the conversations, like doing 2, like, when we had, we got a guest on for 2 segments. We get a chance to really dive in deep on their story, get to know more of their origin.
Yeah.
But then, we just get to know and meet different people, and this was a fun episode. And talking about a different layer of wellness than we normally do on Wednesday.
Sure.
The financial piece, and then also just Thadeus and the work he's doing in the mindfulness space.
It's interesting. Go ahead.
No, please.
It's interesting when we go into the segments that are about 16 minutes, and you're like, goodness, what are we going to talk about for 16 minutes? But most of the time, we end up thinking we needed more time with this person.
Well, that, I think, again, not to beat this to death, but that's the crux of the show, right? I do remember people saying, aren't you going to run out of people or stories? It's like, no, we could have talked to every one of those people for 3 separate segments of their own. And we missed some things that I really would have liked to talk about. Really great stuff going around here at WGTE. Thanks again for allowing us to be a bit of a platform to tell those people's stories.
Yeah, Marcus is doing great work here. Obviously, any of the things that you see, I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh my gosh, I feel like WGTE is everywhere now. And that's, certainly a testament to Marcus.
I've heard people are tired of looking at our faces.
Well,
it's the same thing.
That was just Matt and I saying that. It's the 419, 3 opportunities to enjoy the program, 7 a.m. on WGTE's YouTube channel, 3 p.m. on FM 91, and 6 p.m. on WGTE Connects. We'll see you back tomorrow on the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by our friends at Witro Wealth Management.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.